Hey guys, or whoever, what'd you miss? You missed a Fallout New Vegas stream that didn't go all that great. In between the game like crashing and being glitchy and being annoying, and just some other things that happened. Largely, they would like a lot. Thank you very much for the host there, Milkstick. Hi, Weekend. But there was a lot of like noise upstairs. There was a lot of kookiness. The Fallout. You returned after all. It's good to see you, Weekend Dross. Hi, DC. I'm glad to see you. But unfortunately, let's just say that the Fallout New Vegas stream didn't go all that well. Like, it's to the point where I'm tempted to start it over and just not archive the last one. Like, I want to make it... Nothing, like, super scandalous happened or anything. I just... In between the game being kind of annoying and glitchy, and just kind of the fact that I wasn't in a great headspace by the end of it. I didn't like how that stream ended, so I have decided that we're doing this one now. And if people don't like it, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. It's more content. It's still saying I'm posting purists for some reason on my end. That's a little unusual. Alright, did I meet Easy Pete? I did, in fact, meet Easy Pete. I need some good music. Hang on. No copyright lo-fi hip-hop. That'll do. That feels appropriate. I did, in fact, meet Easy Pete. He looked like he was made of beef jerky. I don't know what we're drawing. I just kind of wanted to hang out with you guys. Because, yeah. Sorry, I just have to answer a text. Draw Easy Pete. Alright, give me a second. But yeah, so I just decided to, to do this extra stream. I wish Twitch had the ability to multi-stream. You can put in a... There, I drew Easy Pete. This is my pathetic excuse for beef jerky. Hey, Milksteak, thank you very much for gifting us sub to Wee Kitten Draws. That brings us another step closer to our sub goal. Very much appreciated, my dude. Wee Kitten Draws, enjoy those tier 1 emotes. Jeez, Milksteak, you've gifted 92 gift subs. As in, have 2 streamers on one stream together. Livestream used to have it. Folks at art races. You can kind of do that because there's this website where you can put in 2 stream URLs and watch both of them at the same time. And if both streamers are already streaming with each other, like, they're already communicating anyway. So you would just share that link, I guess, if you do what I normally do. I hope people see that we are, in fact... Yay! I see you guys saw the, Sorry, I'm just, Yeah. Look at all those butts. Anyway, that's Easy Pete, so, I guess I'll take some requests if people have some fun ideas. I think I have a stream doodles. Yep, right there. I forgot no, I didn't doodle Alapix on stream. Why is that in there? Easy Pete. Everyone's getting used to those emotes. I don't know if we'll stay on the lo-fi, but, like, I feel like it's appropriate. I am trying to lower myself. But, yeah, just to kind of getting back to the actual stream, just to give a bit of context, it's just... there was a lot going on upstairs, and it was all quite loud. It's no one's fault. It's no one's fault. Just want to make that especially clear. It was no one's fault. But, like, sometimes just things happen, and there's, like, a lot of noise, and especially my dog, Sky. She was getting very riled up, and so we brought her downstairs, but then she would get riled up because she wants to know what's going on upstairs, and we can't have her while we're trying to stream, right? So what do? You put her in another room, but then she complains about the noise that's going on in the living room. People try to leave, but then she knows that then she sees that they're outside, and you see my conundrum. That aside, the game also wasn't exactly winning me over. I'm sorry to say. I should mention that I have played New Vegas before. Not, like, a huge amount of it, but enough to be familiar with it. It's alright, Shawkin. Hi, Choco. Oh, Choco. Maybe this might... actually, I was gonna ask you something, but maybe maybe it wouldn't be in the best interest of, disclosure about something, in relation to another creator. So maybe I won't ask about it here. In all seriousness, sorry to hear about your stream. I'm sure you'll bounce back. I hope. That's the plan. That's sort of part of why I'm doing this now, is so I can kind of reaffirm to myself that, like, no, it was a one-time blunder. Things got silly, things happened, we move on, right? Because I'm anxious about that sort of thing. I get very anxious. Actually, that's probably a good art to do right now. It's just some vent art. It's not going to be anything serious. Yeah, I have a feeling you already know what's going on. As far as I can tell, it's nothing serious. I just wanted to know what happened because... Anyway, New Vegas overdose it only beat it like once. My thing with New Vegas, just from what I've been playing of it, and again, I'm thinking of starting it again because maybe when I'm in a better mood, I'll give it more of a fair shake. Not to say that my criticisms that I did lob towards it during the stream weren't unfounded, but... it might help me to be a little bit more impartial if I'm not stressing out over noise and making sure the stream is fun and having to constantly leave the stream and come back and the game crashing and blah, 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 blah. Basically, everything was going wrong is sort of why I was getting frustrated. It wasn't too bad at first, but I feel like it was more towards the end of the stream. Things go better. I hope so too. Thank you very much, Shawkin. And I guess just kind of I'm worried, and I recognize this is probably a bit silly, but hi Kaze, sending hugs, thank you Shawkin, I want people to know that even though in that moment I was very like anxious and frustrated and whatever, that isn't like going to it isn't going to like make me be anxious and frustrated for every, I don't even know if you guys can hear the music, it's all very quiet. Anyway, anxious and frustrated for every stream. It's not like I'm going to associate those feelings with streaming because I love this job. Everything turns out to be alright for you, Fox. Thank you. But B, oh, also I should clarify. I checked in on Sky. She's fine. It really was just she was hyped up because it was
Squidward gaming.
But yeah, she's fine. She's all chill now. She's fine. She was just kind of wired up, and there was a lot going on. She's like, "What's going on? What's going on? Oh boy, who's this? Who's that?" You know. But she's fine now. She's a hyperactive dog when she wants to be. So wow, I cannot draw ears right now. You know what? I'll just do the rest of the face, and then we'll do the ears. Really, it's not like I'm super concerned about the quality of this art anyway. I'm more concerned about just hanging out with you guys. I was tempted to label this as just chatting, but because I know that's a category, but art's more fun. Also, and I don't mean this in and I don't quite mean this in the way you might think it means, but it also gets more people's attention. Want to try making an OC with chat? Oh, I actually don't mind that idea. I'm gonna finish. Thank you, Fembot, for reminding people that I do in fact accept tips. I'm not going to solicit for tips much now because I feel like that would be in poor taste. But I mean, I'm not going to argue with tips. There is, of course, also the voice chat down below and subs and blah 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 blah. You guys already know the deal by now. Anyway, but yeah, everything is good. I should make that clear. Everything is good. No one got hurt. No one was obviously no one got hurt because there was nothing to be hurt about. But no one's in trouble. No one's angry. No one's upset. Sky's fine. I'm fine. It was just a lot of high energy stuff going on upstairs. So there was a lot of noise, and that was stressing me out. Thank you very much for the host, Corgo. Corgo is just upstairs right now, actually, and she's having a grand old time with some friends. Oh, the sad fit. Don't be sad. Don't be a sad. Despite what I'm drawing, I am actually A, in a better mood, and B, well, not really. So much for my claims of, you know, well, I hope that the stream can, help you have a good time. I feel like crap. Well, yeah. We all do. I lost, man. It's just been one of those days, I think. I've been having a lot of those days, actually. That's another thing I should probably mention. I've just been really stressed lately. I'm just drawing my... It's just a bit of very light vent art. It's nothing serious. It's just my character looking kind of stressed. But I feel like I've been having a lot of those days lately. I should mention that that's probably another reason why I got wound up, was because the last few days have been, like, really stressful. I can't even really think of too many particular reasons. I've just... No, it's alright. Don't worry about it. Shout out to the cuties in the chat. Yeah. Y'all are cute, and y'all are amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough for being an awesome community. My days rather sucked too. Sorry, it's been going. Yeah, it's just one of those days. You know, it's actually funny. I will say most of today was fine, but there was just something about... You know what? I don't even think it was the noise upstairs. I think I could have handled it. No, I'm not. I think I could have handled it even if it was interrupting the stream, but the more I think about it, it's just... The past couple of days, I've just been feeling so wound up. So I guess in a way that was released. I just hate that it happened on stream. Again, it's not like anything super huge happened. I just got frustrated. I just decided to stop the stream. But I don't know how to actually cheer people up. I just call people cuties. I mean, hey, just being around actually does help a lot, my dude. I'm just glad to see all you awesome people are here. You're all cuties. Give yourself some self-hugs. Get a treat and grab some water. COVID fugitive, maybe. Don't know what that means, but, Oh! No, actually. I'm not feeling all that, like, boxed in. In fact, if anything, the past couple of days I've actually been out a decent amount compared to how I normally am. I just, Okay, cool. I mean, if it's just a single beverage, I don't think it, like, breaks the TOS or anything. It's not like I'm getting... I mean, I've drank on stream before. I just haven't gotten drunk. Because, I mean, that's irresponsible. Why would I... Oh, well, I feel anxious a lot because of my anxiety, but it isn't just, like, anxiety, like... I guess you could say different levels of anxiousness. It feels like... Very much like... It's like I should know what's up. But for some reason, I just don't. If that makes sense. Like, it feels like I'm forgetting something. And I've been feeling that a lot lately. And I think... Thank you. Oh, it's called... Hello, friend. The drink that Korg just passed me is called a hard peach fuzz.
It tastes like fuzzy peach.
Yeah, the name. Okay.
It's really, really good.
We're kind of letting our hair down for this stream, so I'm gonna just say it. That name is extremely inappropriate. I will say this. We're letting our hair down a bit for this stream, 'cause I think I need it. I think we all kind of need it. I think maybe a part of why I've been so... Howdy, hi, Draxon. You randomly get anxious, I get that. It's not even just that. Again, I've been very transparent about my anxiety disorders. This is kind of a new feeling. It feels like I'm forgetting something really important. And that's been making me feel really stressed lately. Like, straight up, right now, just hanging out with you guys right now in this stream is probably the most relaxed I've been in a few days. Fuzzy Peach, wink wink. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna get the horny paper ready. I'm just like more likely to say the word horny unless Twitch doesn't like that word. I don't know. Marijuana. Oh, not the devil's lettuce. You know, I'm gonna try the drink now. I gotta know. I mean, it's warm, but I gotta know. Yeah, it does in fact taste like fuzzy peaches. It's got a bit of that aftertaste. How would I describe it? You ever get that taste in your mouth and you think it might be because you haven't brushed your teeth, so you go and brush your teeth, but then you still taste it after like an hour? Yeah, it's that. The devil's lettuce, who's having cilantro? But yeah, I just kind of feel like I've been forgetting something. I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, the aftertaste isn't great, but the actual, like, thing itself, I like it. I do like Mike's Heart. Mike's Heart's pretty good. I don't get that from it. Hey, I'm glad you don't. But yeah, I just, I have white freeze as well. Save one for me, please, because I'm probably going to come up after this is done and have some drinks. I don't know how long I'm streaming. Probably not for super long. I just kind of wanted to hang out with you guys for a bit, you know? I could have probably done this in the Discord, but... Of course I did. Actually, what ended up happening is after the stream, I was planning on going to bed even though I wasn't tired. And I just sat there with Abyss for a bit, who, by the way, is filling out his forms to go to the dentist, which is good. But anyway, and I just vented and talked to him for a while. That did help a bit. And he just listened, and then he kind of shared some of his concerns that he's having lately. And it just felt good to talk, you know? Again, that's using number 82, I'm doing this stream. It just feels good to talk. Then you aren't forgetting anything important. That is very sweet of you. I'll be alright with my Diet Cherry 7-Up. How much? Whoa! Why is I'm getting so many messages? A prospective customer. Unfortunately, I have to tell them that comms are closed right now. Why do I even have Telegram open? Actually, the more I think about it. Why do I still have Steam open? Alright. Then you aren't forgetting anything important. I don't know. Again, it's weird. I don't know why I feel, because I know I'm not, but it's like you're just getting that feeling. It's the best way I can describe it is that this is what I always imagined in movies, what somebody feels when someone gets like erased from existence or something in like a time travel story. Like, this is always what I kind of... Which makes me really nervous. Was someone I knew erased by time travel? Did any of you know a Jim Bob? You're just taking and saying things on your mind. It helps out the... Yeah, that's... Yeah. Oh, I love you too, Corgo. Thank you for the fuzzy peach. Oh, why did they call it that? Well, they called it peach fuzz, but... Alright, I think just the sketch is good. Someone, I believe it was DC, or maybe it was Drax, it was one of y'all, Suggested something. No offers yet. I mean, I'm patient, but still. What? Oh, from your commission. You'll get it. Don't worry. Especially since you're just starting out, yeah? So it's gonna take a bit, but you will get there. Like, it took me, like, I will tell you this. It took me a whole, like, year when I opened comms to get anything. I waited a year. I'm gonna order pizza. Need that great. Save me a slice. Alright, Alright, so someone had the amazing idea of using an OC to design it. Using the chat to design an OC. So let's do it. I'm gonna. But unfortunately, it's gonna be a little bit tricky to kind of do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take suggestions. Right off the bat, human or furry? And I want to hear what you guys have to say. 7 eyes. Well, I will ask for eyes. Furry. We gotta vote for furry. Body of a rat, so furry. Furry, that's 3. Furry, that's 4. Cute furry. Okay, we're gonna go with furry. That aside, now that we're doing furry, species. Robot, furry. Oh, that's interesting. I'm counting that. I'm counting rat and robot. So I've heard rat and robot. Bird, rat. Elephant, capybara. Oh, I like that. Okay, so it looks like that's everyone who's offering suggestions. So out of these two, my favorite suggestions were robot furry, rat, and capybara. So I'm gonna say between those 3. Then again, if it's a robot furry, we can make it like a robot capybara. Like a toy or a map. Well, we already have that. That's Fenbot. Okay, so Robit. I wonder if Protogen count. I think Protogen would count. What give to the wildest result? Capybara. Okay, so I'm going to say we are going to stick with robot, and we're going to go with either rat or capybara. So far, we have a vote for capybara. Rat? Okay, so we got rat, 2 votes for rat, 1 vote for capybara. Anyone else? In case you can't tell, this isn't very informal. I clearly didn't put a lot of thought into this. A capybara is an adorable... Like, hang on. It's basically a giant guinea pig. And they're, like, super social. Like, they're super chill. This is a capybara. We got 2 for capybara and 2 for rat. This is a capybara. They're, like, actually really well known for being, like, super chill. Rat might be a bit more iconic. So I'm assuming you're picking rat. That's 3 rat, 2 capybara. Am I hearing one more capybara? Am I hearing another rat? Memorable. Well, I mean, capybara. Okay, so we got... Hi, Sayo. We got 3 capybara, 3 rat. We need a tiebreaker, folks. Thanks for popping in, Sayo. It's good to see you. It's actually really nice to see all these folks come in. Because, A, viewer retention's been kind of spotty lately, but that's a business thing. Always fun to stop in when I can, and a little smiley face. Aw. The other thing being is that,
Squidward Gaming. Ha 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 ha.
The other thing being Squidward Gaming. The other thing just being that I just like this is, I know this is my anxiety talking, but I was super like anxious about having upset people. I don't know why, because I didn't like say anything mean to anyone as far as I know. But I don't know. I was worried I upset people with the Fallout New Vegas stream. You know? Again, not sure why. Oh, by the way, apologies for the in the background. That would be the air conditioner. I am not turning it off because people need it right now. All right, I'm gonna flip a coin because we're not getting a tiebreaker vote. So I'm just gonna coin flipper. I'm sad I missed it. New Vegas is. Oh no, you're not sad that you missed it. I got so frustrated trying to play New Vegas. New Vegas. Is your air conditioner live? It's just screaming. Argh! But no, Sayo, you probably wouldn't have enjoyed watching me play it. I got really Okay, I will say, I brought this up with Abyss, that I got really frustrated at it because I had a lot of other things happening that was frustrating me, and I worry that it kind of colored my perception of the issues with the game. And it's why I kind of want to try and start over. Anyway, heads for Capybara, tails for Rat. We are doing best 2 out of 3. Flip again. That's tail. We have a head and we have a tail, so this is going to determine it. Tails, doing a rat. Okay, so robot rat. What should the character's gender be? Male, female, other? Happens. Frustration is inherently... Yeah, but it wasn't like fun to watch frustration, like when, say, I was playing, like, okay, so I really wanted to stop playing Shrek, but I think we can all agree that Shrek Extra Large was fun to watch. I don't feel, it was mostly towards the end, I will say. Other, so we've got 2 males, 3 males, 2 other. Thank you very much for the follow, Saba123HD. Welcome to the Fox Den. Kick up your feet and relax. We're just doing some art. We're actually making an OC in the chat right now. So we've got 3 male, 2 others, 1 female. Non-binary. Hi, female maybe, so that's 2 female. Welcome, Saba123HD. It's good to see you here. So we've got, let me count again. 1, so for male, we've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 3. Hi there, Silly Randar. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. So we've got 3 for male. We've got, I believe, 2 for female. 2 for female, and we've got other, androgynous, and non-binary. So I'm gonna make the character... I know androgynous and non-binary aren't the same thing. I mean, obviously. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give the character a fairly neutral gender. And I'll just let the audience decide based on my art. So I'm just gonna start going. What kind of fashion sense do you think that this character should have? And moreover, do you think they should be fat or... No. Well, you know what? Let's start with body build. Fat, thin, buff, punk rocker. I do like that. I'm gonna... Biker. So he's a biker rat from Mars. I put bikery. But should he be fat, thin? Or they be, rather? Neo-tribal raider style. I'm just taking down all those suggestions. Small? Okay. If they're a robot, then they're intentionally built as a rat entity. The fashion sense should either reflect or defect from their purpose. That is... Oh, yeah, that is true. On the flip side, just as a community project, we're just doing this for fun, right? Make them fat. Make them on the... I made that on the spot. So what I'm getting is small but fat. That sound about right? Unless anyone else wants to contribute any potential suggestions. Alright, we're gonna go with small but fat. So they're short, with kind of pudgy legs and whatnot, but they will be fat. So they're kind of stout. Should look pissed off. Well, we will discuss that when we get to the expression. Let me just figure out the pose first. I'm thinking just like a sort of pose, like a kind of just generic action pose should be fine, and then we'll tailor it based on the expression and how we work the design. I used to roll the dice. Feel my dick in my enemy's ass. Again, we're letting our hair down, Fox. It's okay to be a little bit gross. Little squat helper bot. Actually, that is a good point. As a robot, what is their function? Let's also take that into consideration. What is their function? What are they built for? Let's us figure that out together. If anyone has any good ideas for suggestions, keep them simple. I would appreciate it. To serve butter. Okay, so we've got to serve butter, which is a Rick and Morty reference, if I remember correctly. To love. Okay. I like that. To fight. Alright. That could be interpreted in multiple different ways. I like that. To be free. The rat aesthetic might be a theme. Rats are often associated with dirty places. Maybe they work in maintenance or sewers. Love is stored in the robo-rat. To give terrible puns at inappropriate times. To help serve food. This is a very diverse kind of a thing we got going here. Or maybe a garbage collector. I do kind of like that, Choco, because you want to know what it gives me, like Vector Man vibes. I'd see them as originally built for greeting people, but has since started searching for their own purpose upon achieving safety. I do like that. It's very, what if Five Nights at Freddy's happened, but, like, the animatronics weren't killing people? In kind of a way. To assassinate. Oh, goddamn. Corky's out for blood. To combine a bunch of stuff. A trashy trickster restaurant waiter who specializes in butter. Truck stop. Pardon me? Or the fact that rats are considered plentiful. Perhaps there is a genetic multi-purpose android. Generic. That works in masses. So here's what I'm parsing from this. It seems like you guys, for the most part, really want to go for something that has a lot of personality. The only really one that wasn't the case was Dun Shanku Lawrence's second suggestion, which was that they're worker bots without much function. Outside, I mean, with a lot of function, but without much personality. So what I'm...
Squidward gaming.
So what I'm thinking... I love the Squidward gaming. So what I'm thinking, if you guys will indulge me for a moment, I'm thinking we make him a service droid who abandoned his original duty in search for meaning in life and fell in line with, well, you know what, we'll save the second part, because I was gonna say fell in line with a kind of or like a gang or something, but that only depends on whether or not we go for any of these ideas. I want to hear for aesthetics. I want to hear what everyone else has to say about the aesthetics. As you can see, he's got a mostly humanoid build, at least so far, but we'll probably add in some extra robot stuff as we figure more details out. This is fun. I like this. a cyberpunk butter game. What if they defected from their original purpose but found a different autonomous job they would much rather do? I go 70s punk, tartan pants, the Clash, all that stuff. Well, here, I'm going to finish the pose. Alright, guys. Now I will reiterate my previous question. What kind of aesthetic should we go for with this character? Both in terms of their outfit and in terms of just what kind of robot they are. Because I'm assuming that they have some sort of clothing article or something. Cyberpunk, Detroit become rat. Oh no, David Kage. I told you to look her in the eye. Whale punk? I don't know what that is, but... Oh, crap! Sorry, I nearly dropped my phone. So I don't know what whale punk is, but sort of, yeah, I've never heard of that. Like steampunk, but with whales. Awesome. But he's not a whale. But what I'm getting kind of from this is a kind of, almost kind of Fallout Raider kind of aesthetic. Bit of a roughneck. He's probably not in the best condition. So what I'm thinking is that his backstory is that he was some sort of maintenance droid, but he kind of fell in with a bad crowd on his quest for kind of self-actualization. He's not necessarily a bad person, but he fell in with a bad crowd. Maybe since he has changed his ways? Who could say? So I'm thinking with an expression, probably a kind of fierce expression. Kind of like... This is a renegade. Their clothing you know the SpongeBob movie where Squidward and Mr. Krabs are surrounded by a group of people that boom as the apocalypse, everyone is in neopunk scavenger gear. Yeah, like that. Scream punk. As you can see, I try sort of reductive reasoning approach. Well, yeah, I do too. Like, when I'm thinking of, like, a character design normally, I usually put, like, a lot of extra thought into it and figure what kind of person is this? What function do they serve in the world? What function do they serve? And do they serve to themselves? And more importantly, what aesthetically looks cool? Within reason, of course. Sometimes you do have to consider... Because sometimes when you try too hard to make a character look cool, you kind of, it actually can kind of, distract from their character because you focused more on making them look cool. So I'm thinking they have, like, this kind of, like, metal, kind of bladed, kind of vaguely kind of mohawk kind of looking thing. It wasn't originally on them. It wasn't originally part of their design, so maybe it was kind of like hastily put on with like some screws and whatnot. There's some scraping, that sort of thing. It wasn't originally meant to be there, but it was put on. Maybe by him, maybe by someone else. Yeah, maybe they said getting into guns with power armored cops. Random leather, pouches, belts! He would probably have, like, belts and whatnot on him. I imagine a very, apocalyptic kind of look to this character. Okay, guys, quick question. Signature weapon, go. I want to hear the best idea for signature weapon, and the one I like the most will end up on the character. What if their rat appearance is their own choice? Some homemade bombs. Okay. Yeah, like maybe they weren't originally originally they didn't look like a rat. Like maybe even their face, like the way that they are now, like their rat face was either self-modification or added in by the group that he runs with now. A wrist-mounted spring-loaded blade. The jaw! Sharp claws, a buzzsaw tomahawk, hook attached to a chain. The rats. Ooh, I do like that, actually. The rats. I think I might go with that. Well, I think maybe what I'll do is, I do kind of like the chains. So I think I'll go with that. Like, there's nothing to say he doesn't have, like, maybe this, I did say it was sharp, so maybe this does actually kind of function like that. So I might actually redraw it and make it, like, an actual, like, buzzsaw. Like, give me a second, I'm gonna fix it. Because I actually do like that idea. It's suitably campy and kind of silly, but, like, it's also dangerous. But I also do like the chain of the hook, and I really like the idea of him controlling rats. I'm not sure how much use that would serve in a literal functional sense, but as a character quirk and as a gimmick, that's super cool. He's like the Rat King, except not horrifically incompetent. Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, I played Five Nights at Freddy's. I know how that ends. I'll give him, like, big old teeth. To kind of imply that, yeah, he could hurt you if he bit you. And then it kind of, like a big old rat tooth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, I think it was hook on a chain. Yeah, so I'm gonna, just have the chain kind of, if you'll forgive the rather sloppy drawing of the chain. There's the hook. Maybe give it like serrated edges, because that creates some visual consistency. Like it's like, oh, well, he's got that blade on him, so maybe he's got blades in a few different areas. Maybe the blades could tie into his original function. Maybe he, somebody said the environment, maybe he was like a landscaping robot, and like he did like, he did like, topiary stuff and things like that. So make the end kind of serrated, like so. Give it a little bit of like a rusted kind of look. It's been used in battle a few times. He's been at this for a while. Is he giant rat that makes all of the rules? Yes, a knife somewhere. Make it sharper. It feels blocky. What, the hair or the, well, like, we're not looking to make the actual art, like, super good. It's more just doing this for funsies. I do appreciate the feedback, though. Thank you. The teeth. Oh, the teeth. Well, like, it does end on a point. I think you might be seeing the mouth, which indicates poor visual communication on my end. What I might do is, maybe instead of, like, I'll, rework how the mouth kind of functions. Unleash the rats. Maybe I'll have it kind of be like a kind of lockjaw situation, and I'll have it be kind of, again, keeping with kind of making it serrated, making it like this instead. Yeah, I think that actually adds up. It's, again, it's a self-modified thing that he added in. It's almost like it's almost kind of like a self-mutilation where he kind of turned himself into this monstrous weapon. Maybe this is a character who's only just recently realized that he's fallen in with the wrong people and this isn't where he's meant to be. This could, like, be its own thing, honestly. Or, like, a character you meet in, like, a side quest. I also think that just the fact that we were streaming Fallout New Vegas earlier, I think that this is kind of an appropriate character to be drawing. I'm not really communicating very well the buzzsaw kind of with the hair. It just kind of looks like hair, doesn't it? guy would have a fallback weapon or two. Oh, probably. I imagine he has some, like, hidden weapons or something on him. Like, he can, like maybe he's got, like, some pouches, or he has, like, a little component that he built into himself, and he's got, like, a dagger or something. If I could just... Really what I should be doing is I should be drawing the blade all the way through, but nah. I feel like this is someone you would meet in the Underhive. This is a bit of a tangent where the tail hits the hook. I'd move it to give it more of a, yes, there is in fact a tangent. Thank you for sort of, it unfortunately, pro tip, when you're doing art, it can be really easy to make this mistake. Actually, I would also change the actual, like, chain itself because it's kind of floating. But anyway, try to avoid tangents as much as possible because it makes your image look way more flat. Obviously, there's, like, allowances and whatnot, but sometimes it's, like, do your best to avoid tangents because it will, in fact, help make the image feel more three-dimensional. And I know we're drawing 2D art, but, like, tangents. Okay, so a tangent would be something like... Okay, so you've got some rocks, all right? You want to draw some rocks. If you were to do something like this... and just have them right next to each other, pressed up, and have the lines meet here exactly, even though you're meant to indicate depth. Like, this one is meant to be, like, closer up. It looks extremely flat. It just doesn't visually communicate. It's not good. However, if I was to, say, redraw that, kind of go for something like this, and then draw the other rock behind it, that helps to avoid a tangent. It's not a great example, but you kind of get the gist. Remember Charles Entertainment Cheese? This is him now. Feel old yet? The thing is, I feel like I'm normally pretty good about it, but every now and again it kind of falls to the cracks. You know? I'm sure there's other tangents I have missed in other art. Again, sometimes there is certain, like, allowance for it, where it's like, sometimes, hell, maybe you're intentionally doing it. Like, you're intentionally making a drawing that's, like, super two-dimensional. Maybe that's kind of the idea, you know? When I was in school, you get massive mark deductions for tangents in work, so now I'm, like, hyper-vigilant of it. Yeah, again, I'm normally really good about it. I would think it's one of the things I think I'm pretty good at, but then again... What's actually funny is as I've said before, we're both our own greatest critics, but also our own greatest proponents. We tend to overlook the mistakes in our own art because we're so used to looking at it. Sure, we know that we probably effed up and we probably hate it, but on the other hand, we're so used to seeing how we draw. Sky is complaining again, and I know exactly why this time. She's okay, folks. She's just a big crybaby. I'm actually getting Junkertown vibes from this, from Overwatch. I don't play Overwatch, so I can't say for sure, but I'm going to assume that's a compliment because I know people generally really like the art design and whatnot from Overwatch. This won't be anything nearly as complicated as that, I'm afraid. Sorry for dog whining, waiting on pizza person. It's all good. It's funny though that you mentioned Charles Entertainment Cheese. I'm actually super tempted to draw like Chuck E. Cheese, like fan art. And you know what? I'm gonna give a hot take here. I actually think that his new design he's had for a couple years now is actually like super cute. Like it's like, oh, he's so cute. Look at him. He's adorable. He's not terrifying. He doesn't look like he'd break into my house at night and stab me. It's great. I never went to Chuck E. Cheese growing up. He carries all of his weapons in a pizza box. That sounds like a Ninja Turtles like gag, doesn't it? Like it sounds like something you get like in an action figure, and like the like the box where they keep all the weapons and whatnot is in like a pizza box. I'm drawn to the idea that they made themselves a rat by choice, but how would this connect to their ability to control them? I don't know. That could be like a sort of unexplored thing. Like maybe the group he joined in had a rat theme or something. Hell, maybe I joked earlier about him being like an actually competent version of the Rat King from TMNT. Maybe the gang leader's the Rat King. I don't know. Maybe his gang symbol's a slice of cheese.
Squidward Gaming. Ha 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 ha.
Thank you, Squidward.
I'm gonna crank that soldier boy, Squidward.
You better not, Patrick. I'm about to, or else I won't get a victory royale. Rats love all food. You give a rat a food. You know, if you give a mouse a cookie and it wants some milk, you give a rat a food, it will want more food. Ah, but that makes them their mascot. It's not part of the robot's own individuality. Well, maybe it was his idea as a machine. Maybe originally he was just going to be outfitted with, because the Rat King uses music to control his rats, right? He's like the Pied Piper. Maybe the idea here is that the Rat King, like again, installed that into him with his permission. Well, permission. But then he decided that he wanted to go in above and beyond on the rat theme himself. Can't confirm rats love everything. I've heard that. Contrary to popularity, they don't like TGs that much compared to other foods. If I remember correctly, gangs have subculture. Maybe the job he did had an encounter with the gang over time. Call him King. Well, I will actually get suggestions for names later. I don't hate the name King. I think that that's pretty cool. Especially since, I mean, we're not really going for this, but now that I'm kind of looking at him, I'm getting an ever so slight kind of, I think it's mostly the blade saw hairs giving me ever so slight, like a rockabilly kind of look to him. I don't really think he'd, like, wear pants or anything, but, like, he'd probably have, like, some straps on him with some weapons, maybe some ammunition, you know. My rat love cheese. It's not good for them to have. Yeah, no, my rats like cheese. Don't feed it to them too much. It makes them not good, like, not well. He looks heavy but agile. Well, he is short but chunky, yeah. He's got like a music box on his throat. That's what he uses to play the music to attract the rats. He's got like some buffs on him and things like that. Some damage, some scuff marks. Both from the fact that he was probably not reconstructed with the best material, but also the fact that, again, as I said earlier, my kind of idea is that he no longer works for this gang, so he's probably been on the run for them for quite some time. And mayhap he hasn't exactly ingratiated himself to the locals. He's a former service worker, right? Well, I sort of gave the idea that one of the reasons why he gravitated towards razor blades and whatnot was because of the fact that he used to do like topiary stuff. That was kind of my idea. Story type knife tail like Clooney. Yeah. Anyway, so, according to Dog Shoe Lords, it's story time. I don't see Thomas Sanders here. Alternatively, the gang got wiped out. Maybe. I kind of like the idea that he's a sort of character who's redeeming himself. And being hunted down by his former clan. Yeah, or a character who's changed alignment. Probably more like, maybe he is an anti-hero. I imagine he would have to be at least a little bit morally dubious to have wanted to ran with a gang to begin with. But I like to think he has gotten better. Hopefully, I don't know. Damn, this is supposed to be one hell of a story time. He's got some compartments on him for hidden weapons. There we go. There was a lab experiment involving the physical effect of music. So they exposed groups of brass and classical and death metal music, and then sent it through mazes. Over the course of the experiment, the classical rats got faster, solving it when the death metal rats got slower. They had to cancel the experiment because the death metal rats killed each other. Ah, that's unfortunate. So remember, kids, if you are a rat that listens to death metal, it will ruin everything. Death metal is the ruination of rat society, don't you know? Okay. Death metal fans are the softest people I've ever met. I think it depends, frankly, like anything else. All right, so we've mostly got it. I think we've got him down. Let me just draw on some of the kind of glare for the thing, and we're pretty much good. Do we have a name for them? I like how we said he this entire time, but we all agreed that they should be like ambiguous gendered. Do we have a kind of idea for their name? Like non-binary or androgynous, something like that. Rolfaren? Dude, sir. Sparks Spedina? Freebite? Doing a surgical analysis, they discovered that classical rats had more neural connections in the control group, while death metal had neural connections that went to dead ends. That's interesting. I see this guy living in a mega city on Mars. Hook Hand Joe. But it's not his hand. Okay, so we had a suggestion of King earlier, and I really like that. So I think we're gonna go with King. Rat Cord, hail to the king, baby. Keanu Reeves was so that he should change his name, and the name he chose was Chuck Spinda. His agents let him stick to his birth name. That's great. Sawblade music, Rat King. I'm trying to figure it out. Rat chord. A combination of rat and record. Records being disc-like objects that... I know what a record is, Don Shaku. Thank you. Look, I'm 25. I know what a record is. I do kind of like King, so I think I like Rat Chord. How about King Rat Chord? Maybe he took the title of King after as a kind. Maybe he took the title of King, like King, and then it's like Rat Chord or something, or maybe. What is this rat you speak of? I don't know. I'm sure this is a follow-up experiment, but the issue is a positive correlation to classical music and brain custody, a negative correlation with death metal. I played the piano once. That was fun. King Rat Chord. Oh, I love it. Again, we always keep... I literally wrote himself, but we're all like, no gender, no gender. Damn it. Or at the very least, non-binary. Technically, I mean, that's not the same thing, but, you know, I figured non-binary plus androgynous. I figured it was probably just better to... I mean, moshing is very violent, I think. Oops. Maybe it. I have a feeling they would prefer that. Maybe. Gender kind of went that. No desire to be part of the people place. I am tired of the people and the minutiae of their lives. Or however the, I'm trying to remember how the Watchmen quote goes. I need to re-read Watchmen. Mosh pits are a lot less dangerous than people think. In my experience, moshing is super respectful, and if you want to, people will full stop and let you leave if you feel useful. Again, metal fans are super chill and really nice. Reject humanity, return to Rat Chord. I am too anxious to get into a mosh pit, not because I think I'm gonna get hurt, but because that's a lot of people. In a very closed off space.
Squidward Gaming.
They like music, minus the first wave Norwegian. They like music, but only into death metal, symbolic of their place in life. I'm gonna
crank that soldier boy.
And actually, while we're at it, let's draw some little ratos. Kind of hang, just kind of chilling. When I refer to death metal, I mean the loud grinding of instruments accompanied by shrieking into the microphone. Mosh pits always have an exit, at least if you're respectable moshers who follow mosh etiquette, which in fact exists. I'm sure it does. Like, the thing is that, like, I'm really sure it does. But I mean, those stereotypes had to come from somewhere in that case. And not that I'm saying that that's always true. Like, there's this kind of old adage about how a stereotype had to come from somewhere. Not always so. I mean, it did come from somewhere. And sometimes that somewhere is called people who dislike that group of people or that thing and want people to dislike it too. But that's getting into deep philosophical and/or political discussion, and I don't think we're here for that right now. King Ratcord seems like a fun character cosplay in VR chat. I think King Ratcord could be a great way to handle Bigfoot. Grindcore in action. Hardcore punk when occasionally piss pop punk when sad, and ska punk when chillin'. King Ratcord versus Pickle Rick. Oh my god, the small rats are so cute. Yes, they're all just little babies there. They're all just vibing. Rick committed mass vermicide. Oh please, he's a goddamn pickle. Then again, oh no, you're referring to the actual events of the episode, okay. Like, where, in order to get a body, he killed, like, a rat and, like, used its leftovers as, like, an exosuit, basically. I do not really remember the Pickle Rick episode. All I know is that people who watched it completely missed the point of it. And then it became a meme. Karen versus Imperial Fists. He stole something from them. What if he had an internal rat den compartment? I like that. Let me, just a little kind of hole on his, tum-tum. That's how you know he's bringing the yum-yums. Again, I imagine it's a little bit slapdash, but maybe where some of his supplies used to be put. But there, little ratos can come and go from that compartment as they please. Hi, Rave! Well, I mean, not sure what that would be stored, though. Well, I mean, he's meant to be a bit portly, right? I mean, I'm looking at the art. I don't really think it comes through, honestly. But, like, oh well. Look at this bean. Or does some stuff he didn't need. Yeah, exactly. Like he maybe had like some equipment that was more conducive for like gardening or whatever services that he did before the transformation. Yeah, I feel like you had a FNAF phase and drew the animatronics. I did have a FNAF phase and I drew the animatronics a little bit. It was really mostly Mangle. What if they're nurturing baby rat? I do like that idea. I do have a feeling like he has a kind of now being a rat, as well as possibly one of the positive things he probably took away from, like I said, like his connection with this rat gang is that like he learned the value of them. Like, and that just like anything else, they deserve like to live just like anyone else. These street rats, they deserve to him. They're not just vermin. Yeah, I am familiar with the Mouse Utopia experiments. They are very disturbing and really depressing. Yeah. What's up, Rave? Hi, Dron. How goes it, friend? It's good to see you. Hey! Oh my God, Rave! Thank you very much for the 4 gift subs. That's very much it says 52, but that was actually we're actually at 54. I love it when it does that. It's my favorite. I'll fix that after. Long time no see, Drawn. Thank you very much, Rave, for all the gift subs. Damn, thank you. That puts you in the lead on the gift sub leaderboard, actually. Thank you very much, Rave. Rave. Means a lot. And I'll just be right back a second. Hello? 1. Ha 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 ha! 1! Rat Core is next year in Raid Shadow Legends. Oh god. Well, Falco is sympathetic to defecting robots. He could make a king of his own. I do like that idea. Raises rats. But yeah, thank you very much, Rave. So long as defecting robots make themselves rats like that. You see, the reason why I'm dubious on that one is because as much as he feels a kinship with these rats, keep in mind, and as much as he made the decision to become a rat bot, as it were, I kind of get the feeling that there's at least some regret on that because it reminds him of his past working for the Rat King. This is basically, I keep saying, and again, we keep saying him. Ugh. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with that. Anyway, I just realized I've been describing this character basically like a TMNT OC, and I don't really mean to do that. This is more a character we made together. Very much so. Especially my writing, actually. Dark time and science for sure. Oh, did it inspire you, Ryan? That's interesting. I've had some weird inspirations for my writing, if I'm being honest. Some you probably, like, would be like, you look at it. I mean, I mean, not now, because most of you probably haven't, like, read or seen my writing at this point, but, like, especially since, like, obviously I'm just doing Bad Vibe, like, starting to get into doing Bad Vibe now, but, I think he's good. With the scratches and whatnot, I think he's good to go. I think King Rat Curd is complete. Actually, there is one thing I want to add first. A sig, but not just my signature, it's everyone's signature, because this is our character that we made together. He was made by us. I'm sorry, I think earlier I said it was 4 gift subs. I think it was actually 5. Sorry, Rave, it was 5. So we should be at 55. I will fix that. Let me just put down a note. I will fix that after the stream is done. It doesn't like to play ball sometimes for some reason. Pardon me. Let us not continue, Lostman. Anyway, yay! We did King Ratcard. We made a dude. I think we're gonna do one more piece of art, and this one is gonna be of one of my characters, specifically Max. And I think it's gonna be a piece for Pride, and I'll probably finish it some other, like, before the month ends. I have a punk side I'm ready to show. Yeah, maybe. I mean, why not, right? I just need a picture of the boy. Is this a little saucy? Maybe. I don't care. It's only a little saucy. Or at least work together. I mean, maybe. Cyborgs in art sharing. Oh, awesome. I'll take a look at that in a bit. But yeah, we're probably going to be, after I finish this piece, we're going to be wrapping up for the night, because it's getting late, and, yeah, I'm probably going to go have a drink, or two. No, let's keep it, like, simple and cute. Just something simple. But yeah, Rave, Drohan, how you doing? Do we ever determine Rackord's sexuality, if that's necessary, being mechanical? I just figure he's asexual. Something that might help, when you draw the second construction line through the head, make that your eyebrow line. It will majorly help with proportions as you draw. A lot of people mistakenly use it as the top of the eye line, which can work, but I found using it as a brow line helps to much more. No, I appreciate the advice. What I actually tend to do sometimes when I do this, I'll just real quick, I tend to make it the top of the socket. So, like, normally, I didn't do it here, but normally what I do is I make the socket, and then I draw the eye, and then the eyebrow, and bleep, 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 bleep. I didn't do it here because I honestly wanted to go for something that's a lot more simple, a lot more cute, so I figured just giant, like, almost like eyes how I used to draw them back in high school, where they're, like, big, and kind of almost kind of like have like a almost sort of vaguely Toriyama kind of look to them, but like classic Toriyama kind of look to them. But obviously he does it way better than I did, and still do, because like I'm looking at it, and yeah, definitely it looks a little odd, but that's fine. It's this is more just a kind of a comfort Pride piece, as well as, okay, there's something I've been wanting to get off my chest about this character for a while now, and originally I was gonna just say it in the story, but the more I thought about it, it doesn't really matter much if I reveal it now or in the story. But I also kind of want it to be a surprise for this piece.
Squidward Gaming. Ha 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 ha.
Yes, Squidward Gaming. And I figure now is kind of the time. Because it just feels appropriate. So if I'm just gonna finish doodling this boy and giving him some clothes and things like that, because oh, you can see all the sketch marks. That's indecent. I just realized I literally gave advice about feathering lions last time we did a feedback, and I'm doing exactly that. Oopsie poopsie. I'm actually going to change his expression a little bit. Kind of make it like a bit of a more like a shy kind of grin, like a have him maybe winking, just because I think that might be cute. It's kind of like a maybe tilting the head slightly, just kind of to the side, you know, and then kind of alter the proportions as needed. Again, it might look a little rough, but like it's fine. It's a doodle. I'll probably kind of rework it more when I finish the actual piece and kind of give a bit more proportion to kind of like dimensionality, because clearly the way that I moved it, it's very flat. But yeah, anyway, thank you for the advice, Sayo. Again, I tend to draw it like the socket is at the top when really it probably should be closer to the eye. It's close, but it should be closer to where the eyebrows are. Rather than the sockets themselves. So thank you for the advice. I will try to remember to keep that in mind next time. I always do appreciate advice like that. Like, it's so funny. I actually used to be super insecure about advice. I'd always say, oh, no, I'm fine with advice. And then people provide advice. I'd be like, oh, no, I'm the worst artist ever. Like, I don't know. I think we were all insecure kind of teenagers at one point, and it's a little embarrassing to look back on. But, I mean, you know. I do think that college really helped kind of soften me up to the whole idea of receiving, like, criticism, especially when it's, like, valid, honest criticism. Like, it's not just something like, oh, well, I don't like your style, so you should change it. It's this is a thing you can use to improve your style, or barring styles, it's something you could use to just improve your general artwork. I'm rambling about nothing now, but that's fine. That's kind of what tonight's for. Common animation. This sucks. Do it again. Yeah, basically. I'm not even in in animation, and I'm so scared about that. Like, should I ever, you know? I am actually, I think I brought this up, I am actually waitlisted for their program. So, I mean, I kinda got in. I know you were in animation proper, but they actually told him he's not allowed to teach first years anymore. Really? Wow. Yikes. And no, the reveal isn't he's gay. You all know that he's gay. That's nothing that's nothing new. I think I forgot a stripe. Like, he's literally been as gay as long as Bad Vibe's been a story. Like, that was always one of his main things, was that he was gay. So that is nothing new. He was brutal. The reveal is coming next time on Dragon Ball Z. Either way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm actually waitlisted for the Squidward Gaming. I am actually waitlisted on the animation program. So, yeah. If before winter Someone gives up their spot.
Squidward
There we go.
gaming. Ha 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 ha.
Denied. No. The reveal isn't that he's gay. Like I said, you all already know that he's gay. But there's another reveal about his identity I want to make clear. Because I think that it's the appropriate time of year. It's so much more structured now. But, oh, that's fantastic. I'm really glad to hear that. I think that being online a lot probably helped a bit. So thank you, Femba, for reminding people that I do, in fact, accept tips. So, I made this change to Max's character and his background largely due to my own personal discoveries about myself. And this is a really kind of sloppy representation of what I'm getting at, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I like to kind of reflect parts of myself in characters, though not always exactly the same. So Max is a little different, but similar kind of sentiment here. Max is actually transgender. I made this decision a while ago. I say a while ago, as in not too long after I realized my own things about my identity. And I figured I hadn't really made a character who was trans yet, nor have I really sort of told a story, because I guess I didn't really feel like I came from a place of authority. I wanted originally to be like, oh, well, it's a thing you find out in the story, but it's also kind of a case where it's like, I don't know, that feels almost kind of manipulative. So I figured just letting folks know. I just think it's kind of cool. I think it'd be just kind of cool to let people know now during Pride. You remember Melody, yeah? She taught first Celia first time. She did? Oh my god, that's so cool! Oh, that's so cool! Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, the reason why I guess I decided to do it now and be like, oh, look, is, because Max is a very, I don't think it would have been manipulative. Fair enough. More so, I'm worried that, like, I don't know, I guess I'm just worried I don't know if I would have tackled it right. Anyway, Max himself is a very important character to me because he's probably, because he's a character I don't want to say put a lot of myself into him, but he is definitely a character I think of a lot when I think of characters who I've made, because he's been a character that I've used for so long and so many things. So I guess that's kind of why. There's a sort of bit of myself in him, not in the sense that we're the same person, like he's a Sona, but he is important to me. And I guess it's just kind of showing that he kind of reflects elements of myself and my experiences. You know, if you don't think it would have been manipulative, I suppose that's fair. I don't know. I guess I kind of panicked on that. Because, unfortunately, it can be a bit hard. You know? Because then again, you always step on someone's toes, right? But anyway, that's the thing. He is actually kind of a trans character. Now, I don't know how super-de-duper much that'll play into his character, but I do want it to be a thing. Well, I know it's going to play into his character quite a bit, but how much is going to play into the actual overarching story of Bad Vibe? I'm not sure yet. It's definitely going to be a very character-focused thing about him. You know? I apologize if maybe this came off as a bit of a spectacle. I'm sort of realizing that now. It was probably a bit overblown. I apologize. I don't know. I'm always apologizing for everything. Do I do that a lot? There is no right or wrong in writing, in my opinion. It's Strange to your own ideas instead of any external expectation about for warning. That's a fair point, Saya. A little. Well, I apologize for that. I guess just kind of, it's a big deal to me, but like, I don't know. Sorry. The Canadian apology stereotype is real. It is. We do apologize a lot. But, yeah. I'm sorry for being sorry for being sorry for being sorry. But yeah, there you go. We have apology legislation. We do, actually. Oh my god. I am sorry about that. Actually, I'm gonna keep this all open for now because I would like to have his references and whatnot ready. But yeah, there you go. For Pride, I figured it would be kind of cool if we revealed this little tidbit about Max a little bit early. Now, if you have any questions about it or whatever, hey-oh! or just about his character in general, like it doesn't even have to do with his gender identity or sexuality or anything. If you have any questions about his character in general, I would love to answer them because I love talking about my characters. Like, my god, I love talking about my characters. My characters are like my little babbies. It's not something I do a ton of on these streams, largely because I worry that it's going to be, like, annoying to people. But, nah, you know. His favorite food? He quite likes ramen and sushi. Has he killed? Nope. He has never killed a soul in his life. He knows people who have, and that will mean and that could mean anything. That's one thing. How does being transgender affect his role in the story? Is that something he has to explore and come to terms with? It's something that he has come to terms with and has been for a while, and his friend group has, but not everyone in the world has, and it is something he is going to have to kind of deal with, overcome the kind of difficulties that come with it. And he already has a lot going on in his life as it is. The thing about Max is that he's kind of a character who's sort of, put upon. And a lot of people underestimate him as well. And unfortunately, that is something that he has to deal with. Plus, on top of that, there's things like his gender identity and his sexuality, which obviously not everyone is going to agree with. And not everyone is going to like. He has daddy issues? He does, but not in the way that you think. I know that most of your first thoughts are probably, oh, well, his parents weren't supportive, right? How did he decide on the name Max? His original name was Maxine. So yeah, but getting back to Sayo's question. Max being trans, it's not something that's going to play its part in every story, or every arc, but it will be something that plays a part to stories and the way that the world kind of perceives him. The dad was a supervillain, if I remember correctly. In the original drafts he was. Things have changed a bit since then. But yeah, sort of, a terrorist now. I will, not necessarily reveal his role, what he does, or what he's considered in the kind of world, he inhabits, but he's not considered a good person. And I will leave it at that. Max is, generally, in the sense that he is a law-abiding citizen. A politician, ayo. A lawyer! Oh no! Does he prefer Conch or Pepsi? Conch, or Beppis? Probably Conch. I'm gonna give him little red blushies, because he's cute. I like how some of the questions are like, has he killed? And then some of the questions are like, does he drink Beppis? Wait, what was, Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I see what I did. I'm stupid. What's his occupation? He works, he is a college student. He's specializing in, robotics, specifically in relation to, cyborganics and augmentation. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Trigasur and Jared T234. Thank you very much for the follow, both of you. Beyond that, he currently works at a tech support store and tech support center and store called I believe I called it the Spark or the Spark Plug or something. I need to check the notes again. You have an awesome Fox avatar. Thank you, Jared. If Max ever finds himself in a situation where a gun is shoved into his hands, how would he react? It would depend on the situation, but more than likely not, he would refuse to shoot. He will be very much tested on that as the story goes on. Did I mention that this story is probably not going to be as light and fluffy as most of my streams are? Has he purchased NFTs or played Grand Theft Auto? He never purchased NFTs by the point in his world that NFTs were a thing. He was probably either a child or not even born yet, because it takes place in a couple relative to our time, it takes place a couple of years in the future. I mean, not a couple of years, a couple of decades into the future. Max is about 22 at the beginning of the story, maybe 23. As for Grand Theft Auto, I think that's 5, or 6. They're still waiting on Grand Theft Auto 6 at his time. Active firefight, he would probably try his best to shoot, but not to kill, which, given the fact that he's not trained with guns at the beginning of the story, he would probably F up, and would probably just keep shooting walls and whatnot. Does Max believe in Bigfoot? Should he? Max... I don't know. I don't even know if Bigfoot would even be a thing in this world, if at all. I'm gonna say no, because he's not naturally superstitious. Half-Life 3? There is no Half-Life 3. There was about to be. But then this universe is equivalent to Gabe Newell passed away on his deathbed before he could announce it. What are his hopes and dreams? Max wants to help people. That is his ultimate goal in life. The reason why he studies robotics is because he had a natural knack for... He had a naturally high intelligence. As a child, he was a very quick learner. And he had a gift. He had a gift just for fiddling and, like, repairing and things like that. And so he put those to... he wants to put those to good use. And he wants to use cyborganics and augments to help people who have lost limbs and things like that. And need body modifications, things like that. Augmented technology is a thing in Max's world, and it's advanced farther than ours, but A, it's still very expensive, and B, it's still, there's still a lot that needs to be kind of reworked about it. A lot of it's very invasive, a lot of it's very painful. He wants to try and fix that. So that's his end goal. That's his dream. Hi, Bread Bun Bun. We're in the worst timeline. No, he's in the worst timeline. And I mean, technically we did have Half-Life Alyx, so I mean, there's that at least. I heard that's really good. I gotta level, never played Half-Life. Oh, yeah, a bad vibe is a cyberpunk. So expect all, the thing about, are you sure? Yes. The thing about Max is that, you know what, I'm actually gonna see how much of this I can finish tonight. Because now I'm just enjoying talking about my boy. Max is, basically one of my ideas for this is that Max and his friends are an uncharacteristic group to be in a cyberpunk. Cyberpunk protagonists are generally very morally ambiguous characters. They don't normally, have a very strict code of ethics, or if they do, the code in and of itself is often very kind of, wonky. Max and his friends are largely not like that, especially at the beginning of the story. They're mostly an innocent bunch of people. But they kind of get roped into more situations that require them to make more difficult actions and to realize what kind of world they live in, which is not a fun place. It is not a good place. The world that Max lives in is not a good place. It seems like it is. Technology advanced really fast. There's plenty of jobs for everyone, but it all comes at the cost of things like personal security, money coming up, and the fact that, like, corporations and whatever have even more so than our own society, have a very large say and stake in politics and that sort of thing. It's like really nice people inhabiting a very Blade Runner-esque world if you turn the technology down a little bit and made it a little bit more comparable to modern day. The worst timeline is the Bigfoot timeline. Now the worst timeline is the cyborg timeline. Cyborgs can work longer than humans, so they're abused more in the workforce. They try to do the right thing. More or less, yes. These are characters largely like Max and especially his friend Steve, who's a big old polar bear. They both try and do the right thing. Now, some of their friends are a little bit more willing to bend the rules a bit. But even by their standards, even Lawler, who's the oldest one of the group, and he's considered to be not really a deviant, but a bit of a dissident in society because he doesn't like how things are, even though he actually came from a privileged background. Max also did, to a lesser extent, but still privileged enough, like, if you can tell, he had his top surgery. His fur mostly covers the scars, but he's had his top surgery. He hasn't had his bottom surgery yet. I don't know if that's TMI, but there you go. Surgeries, rather, because there's a few of those. Alright, good night, Milksteak. Is there a reason why they are furries? Not really. I just started as a furry story, and I like drawing furries, so there you go. If you're curious, there are, in fact, humans in the world. Furries in the Bad Vibe world are called, I believe I call them Verums. And they are just almost as ubiquitous to the world as humans are, and they have their own complications, in addition to complications with humans and the like. But yeah, Max also came from a somewhat privileged family. I mean, obviously, who his father is, but also his uncle who raised him was fairly well off. And that's actually part of why he's kind of ignorant to the vices and the darkness of the world. But as the story goes on, he's going to realize more and more, that he was in fact raised in a very privileged family who didn't have to deal with a lot of those pains, despite his own very personal pain. Like, he did have a lot of his own issues, and a lot of his own pain that he had to deal with, obviously. And it's not that his pain is incomparable, it's that it's a different sort of thing. Now, these are all very complicated themes, and these are all things I'd like to explore. I will say this, and sometimes I do worry, it is very ambitious, this idea, a lot of the ideas I have, and I worry a lot about my ambition. I also worry about the themes that I'm tackling, and that I may not necessarily have the sensitivity to tackle them. Like, does that make sense to anyone? Or rather, I have the ambition, I may not necessarily have the skill to tackle them. But it's still something I want to do anyway. I want to give it a shot. Because I've been trying to get the story off the ground for goddamn years. Like, Sayo, you knew me in high school. Was I working on Bad Vibe when we first met? Man, I gotta talk to you about To Dust. I need another writer to bounce off. I would be so down for that, dude. No, you weren't. Okay, then it'd be about 10 years since I've been trying to get this idea actually off the ground. To be fair, I technically did in high school, but it was such a devil-may-care... It was such like a devil-may-care kind of, I'll just come up with what I want. I have a vague idea. I'm not even going to come up with scripts. I'm just going to pencil down the ideas and then do them digitally. I wasn't even writing scripts. All of my scripts were on the page. And it was awful. You can't find the pages anymore, but it was atrocious. But, you know, at least I got it done. Like, and now it's like, it's not counting that. And my first attempt, I did like a page of a reboot that kept some of that. This keeps some of the ideas from, but it's not exactly the same. For starters, both of these stories are starting very differently. Like, in the original draft I had for this kind of cyberpunk Bad Vibe reimagining, it starts off with an attack on the college that Max and Michael go to, because I thought it was a good way to start getting into the action immediately, getting right into the story. This draft that I have now is more about world building in the first issue. The second issue is more about getting you into the action and figuring out the overall primary conflict. But it's more about world building and showing what kind of world this is. There is a conflict, and it focuses on Max, but it is meant to show that this isn't a very pleasant place, but also show that while Max is aware of suffering, he's blissfully unaware, or at the very least, it doesn't click how much suffering there is. In a way, he's kind of ignorant to it. Not because not because he's choosing to be, but because he is very much this kind of optimist. Even though he is a very quiet, very introverted character, he's very shy, he doesn't talk to people. I think there's a kind of optimism about him, and I don't want to rip that optimism from him, because I don't believe in doing that with unless okay, I say I don't believe in doing that. Obviously, the story serves it, right? If it serves the story, or if the story serves the character development, then yeah, do that. If you had to summarize about like a blurb you see on the back of a novel, how much would you describe the plot without giving too much away? Hang on, I actually have this written down somewhere. If you'll just indulge me a second. I do have it written down somewhere. Of course, I also lost a lot of files, unfortunately, as you guys know. Some of them were Bad Vibe related. No, those are scripts. Well, actually, hang on. Scripts and storyboards. It might have... No, that's a basic plot outline for the script. I need, I had it written down, and it was actually fairly succinct. And, also, the avatar on screen is great. Oh, thank you. He knows there's crap. He doesn't know how deep. Exactly. Okay, so here's how I guess I would describe it. Bad Vibe is a story about the importance of family and your sense of family in a cruel, cruel world, and the importance of it, and what it means. as well as what it means to an individual, what it means to the world at large, what it means to a given situation. That's how I would describe it. Because Max and his friends are very much a found family kind of situation. Yeah, it's very much a found family situation. And each of them are characters on their own, obviously. I mean, we literally just went off about Max's history, what kind of person he is, the fact that he's gay and trans, and he came from a privileged background, and he blah, 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 blah. But the matter of the fact is that he is still part of this functioning unit, and how each individual plays into this functioning unit, this found family, and how the difficulties of the world can affect that family for better and for worse, and how everyone can come out, I guess, stronger or potentially even weaker by the end of it. There will be pain, there will be sadness, but there will also be moments of joy, and we will see the characters interacting like a family. Family is really important to me, so I guess I just wanted to write a story about that. But I wanted to make it clear that family isn't just blood. Not that I have any issues with my blood family, but I consider my family to be much larger than just that. And the characters of Bad Vibe are like a family. And their world is so effed. And some of the characters know it better than others. I have like, Lawler is very much, like, I brought up Lawler. Lawler is the oldest character of the group, and he has, like, again, he's debatably from the most privileged background, but, like, he was basically ostracized from his family. And, hey, we're being raided by Geek Fox with a party of 5! Thank you very much, Geek! Howdy, everybody! Hello, Based Art! How you doing? Hi, Geek! How you guys doing? We're actually just, we're just drawing, and I'm actually just discussing my comic idea. Raid! And only because Max is willing to kill for his family, I guess. That is something I'm not going to spoil. Largely because, and this is going to sound weird, I haven't determined that yet. I have no idea how you're up this late. I'm up this late because I did a really cruddy stream earlier, and I wanted to make up for it, and I'm not tired, so... Shadow Legends. Oh no. Hype, 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 hype. It's really good to see you guys. Thank you very much for the raid. If you came in the raid, hello, my name is Dr. Josh Fox. I'm a gender-fluid variety streamer. I do everything from games, RPGs, first-person shooters, sim games, to art like you're seeing now. And in this case, we're actually discussing a very important character of mine. And people have been asking questions about him. Thank you very much for refreshing, folks. But I hope that that's a succinct enough answer. Bad Vibe is a story about family in the face of a cruel world. There's also, like, other things it represents, but I would say that's probably simple enough. Thank you. I would say it's... I mean, there are other things I want to talk about it, like greed and politics and things like that. Obviously, identities with each of the individual characters. You might notice this, but most of the main cast of Bad Vibe is some kind of minority, and there's a reason for that. In one way or another, and I don't just mean like social minority, but they represent some kind of minority or something. But these things are going to be talked about, but for me, that is the main focus. I kind of make up for it as well after my sister visited for a week for some family time. So that's fair. I hope you guys had a good time. But yeah, again, there's a few themes I want to tackle, but I would say that's the most prevalent one. This theme of found family. And how something like that can deal in kind of the face of a very adverse world that probably doesn't encourage people like that. That doesn't encourage like found families and things like that. It doesn't encourage a lot of free thinking. Pretends like it does, but it doesn't. But again, that's dealing with kind of different themes and things like that. Did anyone have any more questions, or are we about like sold on the idea or not sold? Maybe you're not sold on the idea. I don't know. If anyone new came in, if you want to ask any questions, please feel free. I'm just drawing my cute boy. Anything significant about his design? Not really. Honestly, I will be honest. Max was kind of designed. He went through a few different design ideations. His original design, I didn't even mean for this to happen, but he just kind of looked like me as a cat. Then I reworked the design, and I didn't like it because it was very plain. Now, Max's design, technically speaking, is kind of plain, like in that he's mostly just brown. He's got some freckles and whatnot. That's cute, and he's cute, but he is plain looking. I would say maybe if I was to pick some significance, is that his smallness and his very plain fur and whatnot could arguably make it like a thing where he's not the kind of character you would expect to be a main character. I think that doesn't necessarily hold true because he's pretty. Yeah, exactly, because it's something that you don't have to draw over, because this is a character I'm going to have to draw over and over and over again, so that does help. But you could maybe, if you wanted, potentially look at it like it's meant to be like subversive. He doesn't look like an action hero or anything. No, it is just straight up. It's an appealing character design. He looks cute. It's easy to draw. It isn't really meant to have any deeper meaning. He just looks cute, and I like drawing cute cat boys, so... Yeah, it's going to be a bit of self-indulgence in this book. I'm not going to pretend like that there isn't. I mean, it's a book I'm independently publishing on my own, so I mean... You could do a main character fake out. I actually did think about that at one point, where a character who debatably... one of the characters who debatably looks a lot more like the main character, his name is Michael. In that one early script, he does most of the talking for the first story. And then the fake out is that, like, kind of the fake out, because I did kind of hint that Max was the main character and whatnot, but then the kind of real twist is that Michael starts talking, but then I don't feel like it got really across, because I think like 5 pages in I have Max take over the story, I think, and it's just like, yeah, it didn't really work. Also, it just wasn't it's just like, it just didn't really like click. I think just having Max be the main character from the get-go is, I think, perfectly fine. I think he's a good, relatable character, especially in a genre where characters tend to not be as relatable, or at least I find they aren't. Like in Cyberpunk. Or if they are, it's more what they represent versus what they're like, if that makes any sense. Because I would very much like these characters to be, like, very likable and very fun. I don't want them to just equal their themes. Like, I don't want people to just look at Max and be like, oh, well, he is a victim of the system because he came from he is an indirect victim of the system because he came from a family of privilege, and therefore he's not familiar with its flaws. And that's what he's meant to represent, and we're going through the journey of seeing him growing wiser. I mean, that is part of it, but also, he's a cute dork who likes anime and technology and playing video games and is like a hopeless romantic, you know? That is something, that's a big thing. He is a hopeless romantic. Twitch randomly booted you? It did. Like it kicked you out? Like, I'm sorry about that. That's weird. I hope it doesn't do it again. I like having you here. But yeah, anyway, Max is, again, I want the characters to at least be, I don't want to necessarily say relatable in the sense that, like, you could look at, wow, that's me, because, I mean, everyone's going to say that about almost any given character. Like, there's some people who find, like, Frank Castle relatable, and, I mean, anyway, in this case, Max, you could say that he's relatable, but I'm not really, it's not so much about being relatable, it's about being believable and enjoyable. Twitch is whack, yo, yeah. So yeah, while there is, like, significance to his character thematically and things like that, I don't want him to be a character dominated just by his thematics, I guess, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like, he's not Superman, where a lot of the initial appeal comes from what he represents, and then a really good writer takes him and makes him a more compelling character. I want him to just kind of be a compelling character from the get-go. Admittedly, I worry maybe I have a bit too much going on with him, but these are all, like, things we can work out over time and figure out, and, you know? He is the main character, after all, and there's going to be a lot about him. That's not to say the other characters aren't also super important. They are, but, like, Max is the main character, I would argue. Mostly in the sense that we follow the story largely from his perspective, and he has the most connections to Arthur, the other main character, his father, who has a very, very different kind of approach to morality and his character. I would argue Arthur is debatably... You know what? I'll give you kind of an idea of what kind of character he is. Arthur is debatably closer to what a traditional cyberpunk protagonist is, but with a lot more power. If you gave a traditional morally ambiguous cyberpunk protagonist a lot more influence and power, that's the kind of character he is. So Max is kind of the opposite of that. Sure, maybe as the story goes on, he might be forced to do things that are more morally questionable or ambiguous, but that moral ambiguity doesn't define him. Whereas that is a much more defining trait of his father. There's a lot of laughing going on upstairs. I'm looking forward to finding out about whatever the hell it is. Did anyone have any more questions? Because I'm having a lot of fun answering these. Sorry, I just get excited talking about my stories, you know? I remember, this stream was supposed to be over by now, but I wanted to keep going just so we could keep talking about it. Because maybe it's a bit vain, but I love my babies, and getting to talk about them makes me super happy. Or if you have any questions about, like, the comic in general, or if you have any questions about other characters, please feel free to throw it my way. I know we don't share as much about the other characters. That's largely just because I have the most fun drawing Max. But, because he is, like, super cute. Do Max and crew get a base in the story? That's not currently in the cards, no. They operate largely from home. Or wherever we'll give them. And maybe that'll change in the future. But I have a feeling that, like, what if furriness is a product of body modding? Not that it wouldn't have consequences, but just food for thought. I did think about that at one point, but I figured that body modding more is like robotics and things like that. And if Max is working to make, like, body modding and whatnot more affordable, yet him and all of his friends, many of whom don't really make a lot. I mean, Max himself came from a family of privilege, but the other character, Steve, doesn't. Michael doesn't. Well, Michael came off from a decently well-off family, but, like, there were some hardships on that. Lawler definitely comes from a background, but the point is, not all the characters come from backgrounds of privilege that would afford that. How much cyberpunk have you read? I haven't really read a lot of it. I've more ingested a lot of it in movies and games. Because I don't read a lot of books. I have read I have read some cyberpunk comics. Although none of them, like, were super stand out to me. I'm sure they exist, but, like, I mean, obviously something like, say, Ghost in the Shell or whatever, is fantastic, but, like, you know. But yeah, I did actually think about that. Dunshaku, is that furriness was the result of body mod. I just decided it was easier to just make them a separate, like, species. I figure you don't really need to have much of a reason to do something like furry, because it's just kind of a thing to have, like, you know. You can, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but, like, sometimes you just want to have a thing in, you know? Oh my god, we're getting raided by Surrey Fox with a party of 24! And Vega Stripes followed, and Naira Wolf followed. Holy crap! Hello, everyone! How you doing? Hi, Prince of Felina and Orange Soulblight. Oh my god, so many people following. Ah! On that subject, energy is on the rise, and some people say we're evolutionary to given conditions like computers have. I'm not sure how much I believe or I want to, but it's interesting to think about. That is indeed very interesting. If that does in fact become a thing and I want the story to stay concurrent, I will probably find a way to work it into the narrative. But right now, the idea is mostly focused on cyborganics. Huh. Oh my god, hi Karen Sarblay and Inazuma Okami. Hi people! Hi Suri, thank you so much for the raid. You guys are amazing. My name is Dr. Josh Fox. I'm a gender fluid variety streamer. Excuse me. And right now, we are talking about so many people getting my name right recently. It feels so good. Anyway, I'm a gender fluid variety streamer. There's everything from video games that are like RPGs and shooters and sim games and things like that. Right now, we're doing art, specifically of a character from a comic I'm making. I haven't actually published any pages proper yet, but I'm making it. It's called Bad Vibe. It's a cyberpunk story, and this is a pride piece for the main character. We're super glad to have you here. I hope you guys enjoy your time. Thank you all the new followers and everyone who came in the raid. Welcome to the Fox Den. If you did in fact come in the raid, if you could refresh your stream so you're counted as both a proper viewer and a raid viewer. I don't know why those are counted as different things, but there you go. And I hope you have a good time. I think we're done the line work. No, wait, no, I'm noticing some mistakes. There we go. No, that's your father who has made mistakes. I don't remember how that song goes. It's really good, though. And Vengers Assemble. 30 viewers. Holy crap. It's been a hot minute since we had that many viewers. I'm super glad for all of you to be here. I hope you all have an amazing time. We're super glad to have you. I'm going to give them, like, little marks for the blushies. Max lives with his roomies, his found family. The thing about that, Suri Fox, thank you for the follow. Woo! Fried Rice Owl with the ass. All of y'all with the ass. Actually, Fried Rice Owl. That name sounds familiar. Anyway, Max lives with his found family. You actually do, in fact, start the story, and he's already living with these people. He's already in a relationship with Michael. He's already living with his childhood best friend Steve and his girlfriend Valeria and their landlord Lawler. Well, he's he's a landlord, but only in so much that he owns the building and whatnot. But he actually, for the most part, just kind of as he's an example of someone who tries to be better than the sum of his parts. Not that he always is, but still, especially since I know that there's this kind of anti-landlord kind of sentiment, which is completely justified in most cases. Hi, I'm Def. Hi, Def, I'm Dad. Valeria. What? No, Valeria. Valeria. Alright. I'm deaf, apparently. King Cinder, are you actually deaf? If so, hang on. If that is the case, I may have to transcribe some of my... Okay, in that case, I'm going to be transcribing some of my answers. Alright, I would have asked a mod to do it, but Milksteak went to bed. I like how I asked, are you actually deaf? Like, Fox. I'm not very smart. Maybe I can take over. Need to get a cord, though. What? A cord? Do you mean like a Discord? I'm talking about in the chat. I have a laptop. Ah, okay. I mean, if you want to transcribe some of the answers, feel free. That would actually be, like, super easy. If you would like to do that, I would very much appreciate it. Anyway, Suri, what were you... Actually, I just realized I didn't... Everyone, if you haven't already, checked out Surrey Fox. There you go, shout out. Surrey, if you're still watching, what were you playing or what were you streaming? Was it Ort? Or were you a fellow artist? Excuse me. Alright, if anyone has any more questions, please feel free to ask them. I love answering these questions. Doing art. Did a bunch of community headshots. Oh my god, that's so cool! Oh, that's so cool. We actually designed a character. Hang on, let me, before we continue, I want to show the character that we designed. His name is King Ratcurd. I took input from the chat, and we made a character. I even synced it for all of us. He's like a robot. He used to be like a service robot. He ended up sort of getting in line with this rat-based gang. He was modified kind of roughly to have this rat theme. He turned against the gang, and now he's basically like making another like a good gang with like takes care of like rats and sort of and other outcast robots and whatever. Anyway, this is King Ratcord. And this is Max. He is a precious being and the main character of my story, Bad Vibe, which I am, again, still working on. He's a Havana brown cat, and he is a very, very good boy. I love him. But yeah, if anyone has any more questions, or if anyone who came in the raid has a question, please, about the comic or whatever, please feel free to ask. I would love to answer more of your guys' questions, because I'm having a ball. And in some cases, you guys might actually help me to think of some things I didn't think of before. Because things like this, even if it's like small things, because I was asked earlier, does he believe in Bigfoot, or does he believe in or does he prefer conch or Beppis? And I actually had to think about that, because I don't know. Again, it's a small thing, but... Are you going to do shading of the comic, or leave it in flats? I am shading the comic. It's going to be simple cell shading, probably, but I am going to be shading it. What the aspect of world building? You're going to have to be more specific. Hardest I find, I think, is my main thing is keeping it consistent. Because there's a lot, the thing is that, and I've kind of fallen into a trap, and I'm kind of trying to push back on this a little bit. I fell into the trap of developing my world before I developed a story, and for some people that works. It doesn't work for me. I ended up coming up with a loose, but what I found was a lot easier. I came up with a loose idea for the world while I was coming up with a story, and then developed the world around the story. Oh, thank you, DC. Dunshaku, you should just kind of put, like, simplified versions of answers to questions or anything you think might be relevant. I'm giving you kind of a judgment call on that. There's a lot of ideas, like, hang on. I literally have a whole just page of just basic world information that's still under construction. I have major settings, which I have a few of those. I have technology, which includes augments, computer memory, neurotech or neurotech, which I don't remember what this is. Neurum is right. It is it's a kind of it plays into the augments and things like that, and it probably could have come into play later. I've got like scripts and things like that. I've got like explanations for how the world is supposed to work. I've got so much. World building words with ideas for fun. Plot first works when you run with plots for fun. The way I found it is, again, I came up with the story. I came up with a character, and while I was developing the story, I kind of came up with a loose idea for the world. And then when I got the opportunity to develop it more, which funnily enough was actually in school, I jumped on that opportunity to expand on it more.
because it was really cool. It was for a world building class, and I finally got to have an excuse to. I mean, I would have fleshed it out eventually, but that just gave me a place to really focus on it, and I'm glad that I did, because I feel like that the world is potentially very fascinating, but I don't want to give away too much about it, because it might spoil some things. I could probably, with a bit more time. I don't want to pretend like I've made like a Tolkien-sized world or anything, but like, I mean that's arrogance, obviously, but like, at least in my case, because I'm a first-time storyteller, and I'm sure I'm gonna forget things, and there are gonna be some logical fallacies, but that's just how it be, yo. Dongshu, if you just want to write like a truncated version of that answer, which is basically just hardest thing I find, or the hardest thing I find about world building is a ton of ideas. Just, I could probably with a bit more time, not that I'm Tolkien or anything. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, is that same thing. But yeah, if you just want to put down that the hardest thing I find about world building is too many ideas. Yeah, thank you. What gets actually hard is people say it's like coming up with ideas. For me, it's figuring out the ideas to excise. We should probably preface that the square brackets equals transcription. Let's keep the questions going if you guys want. I am having a blast answering them. So, yeah. See what the Hearts of Iron 4 modding community does. Oh dear. Thank you. Any other characters you want to give info about? I like how you put oh dear in bracket. Alright, it's alright. Any character I'd like to give more insight about? I think I'll give a bit more insight onto his boyfriend, Michael. Because Michael is also a very important character. Michael is going to begin the story, basically training to become this world's version of what's basically like an officer. They're not like our world's cops, per se. They're kind of a combination of like cops, the military, Marines, things like that. They're basically an all-in-one task force. And at the beginning of the story, he's trained to become that because he was largely raised in that sort of environment. As the story comes on, he'll begin to question whether or not that is the best direction for him to take in his life. And I don't want to give away what answers or conclusions he comes to, because it is very important to his character and also impacts his dynamic with others. I tried to make some of my own ideas. That sounds like a bad idea. Do you mean like making your own settings, or Michael becoming a not cop? Hang on, I have the name for them written somewhere. Let me just I believe the acronym was ADF, but I can't find where I wrote down what that means. I believe it was Allied Defense. ADF, Allied Defense Force. That's right. Hey, I didn't say that! Now, again, as for how I'm handling that particular element of Michael's story, I don't want to give too much away on that because it does play a big key in who he is, what he does, what kind of conclusions he comes to, and how it's going to affect his relationship with others. But let's just say I'm going to have to be a bit careful with how I handle it, and I freely admit that. To be fair, I feel like that when you're writing a story that has anything that could be considered a political or social commentary overtones, you have to be a bit careful. But, like, you know, in the end, I don't think that the conclusions that he'll come to are anything particularly grave or, like, shocking or offensive. I already kind of know how it's going to go down, too. I've already kind of pictured it in my head, but again, all of it's very, like, it's story things. I don't want to spoil it. Depends on the universe. Not having the military and police work the same force, that would raise alarms in my head. Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about that. I think I've already mentioned that this world isn't exactly great. So if it's raising alarms in your head, congratulations. You have more common sense than the average citizenship of this world. Is it a one world government or are there nations? There are nations. And the best way to describe it is that there's I'm just eating some food, sorry. I'm just grabbing a drink and eating. I don't even remember what the question was. Oh. There are multiple countries, but many of them are tied very closely to each other. Others are very distant. Which doesn't sound too much different from this world. From our world. But there are certain kind of changes and differences. For instance, certain nations and their alliances are different. Certain countries' political spectrums changed. I should mention that this is on Earth. So it is in fact on Earth. It's just an alternate version of Earth. There's a lot of alternate history kind of things going on. I actually might want to poke around on some of those forums. Maybe get some ideas. But yeah, so there are multiple nations. But one of the things that they tend to have, especially like a good chunk of them tend to have, is that a lot of them are very heavily influenced by corporations. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them are. And if they're not influenced by corporations, they usually have something else going on with them. Like maybe they're having difficulty financially, or maybe they're an empire or something like that. Like for instance, in this world, United Kingdom is like it's the Great British Empire or the New British Empire. Things like that. Not that I think we're going to focus much on the outside world, at least not at first, but it will definitely be something that comes up. There are certain aspects that are unite as one. Like I brought up the United, like Allied Defense Force. That is a thing that that different kind of nation, like that like a large group of nations all use, just different segments. There'd be a not NATO and a not Soviet Union. Basically, yeah. Well, yeah. In fact, there is, like, literally a not Soviet Union. There's a, excuse me. Basically, it never dissolved properly in this world. Instead, it reformed as the new Soviet Union. And this comes with its own kind of changes and things. Again, not sure how much of that I'm going to focus on. I think that was more me just getting ideas out. But that is something I could potentially cover in the future. Especially if we are going to have, like, a militia, essentially. Yes. Wait, did they get some colonial positions back? The UK is another Great British Empire. For example, the relation will export immediately, but they'll be significant down the road. There's a Soviet Union that never dissolved properly, but instead reformed. Seems legit. Yeah, again, I will freely admit, when it comes to this particular element of the world, I haven't had a lot of time to develop it and why certain things happened. Like, why did the Soviet Union just reform instead of completely dissolving? Why did Britain kind of double down even more on its imperial status? What is the state of, like, something like the United States. In some of my early messages, I did point out that the country was in a much worse state of sort of despair than the story takes place in Canada. But I mean, because I am Canadian. But now that I think about it, that doesn't really serve much of a purpose, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's probably just a case that the United States is perfectly fine, probably by the standards of this world. Let's make that clear. It felt more like almost like a dig, but like a dig without a lot of meat to go. Cold War goes horribly wrong. I haven't figured that part yet, actually. They probably, or at the very least, had a very different outcome, but one that also thankfully didn't result in nuclear annihilation. I think the reason why I did say that, though, about, like, the States was like, oh, it's not in great condition, is, like, we have this tendency, I noticed in, like, a lot of Canadian stories to really, like, to do that with, like, especially with, like, the United States, where it's like, oh, well, the bad things are happening in the States or whatever. And I don't know, it just always feels kind of weird to me. It's always like, I mean, sure, if it happened every now and again, sure. But and you know what's actually funny? I'm saying that, I can't think of any specific examples. Yeah, there wasn't any nuclear annihilation or anything. I will say that like, maybe, I don't know. If I had to guess, maybe tensions never really stopped. Maybe they subsided, but they never really stopped. Is probably a good way to put it. It never really ended properly. Handmaid's Tale was written by a Canadian. I actually did not know that. Did we finish the thing? Were we streaming for that long? Oh, we're getting close, actually. This was only meant to be like like an hour long, like an hour and a half long stream, but here we are. We're still going. True to life, really. Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. It's true to life, but it's I guess you could argue a bit more exaggerated in a way. It's a bit more outward. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. There are elements about this world that are very much like our own, but it's more outward. I had to set to dust in the USA specifically because certain elements wouldn't have worked in other countries. Universal health care. Yeah, fair point. Honestly, the main reason the story takes place in Canada is just because I wanted it to take place in Canada. Like, that is a completely selfish thing. I wanted to make the story take place in Canada. It's the same reason why you could tell the story in the United States or in this British Empire, and very little would probably change. It's one of the reasons why I'm not really focusing on it as much. I think that there will be consequences related to it and whatever, and it will inform characters' behavior, but it's not like really one of the biggest focus of the story. It's really more for world building. By the way, if you guys don't know, Sayo is making a comic called To Dust. It's perfect fine reason to set it in Canada. Yeah, fair enough. Just I wanted to do it. Same thing as why they're furries. I wanted them to be there. Thank you. You've been doing a really good job with the keep forgetting I'm brackets. You've been doing a really good job with the transcription. Thank you very much. Let's say not exactly, but kind of close. Yeah. But yeah, it's the same reason why I wanted that. Why I wanted there to be furries in the story was I just felt like it. I wanted the story to take place in Canada. I wanted it to be Canadian. But it doesn't have to be. It's not like it being Canadian is super important. I guess if you wanted to maybe parse an idea out, it's like we've seen plenty of stories talk about this sort of thing in America, but very rarely do stories that take place in Canada talk about this sort of thing. But that's more an observation than any kind of intent. That wasn't my goal. I wanted to tell a story that I want to tell the story, and it just so happened I wanted it to be in Canada because I'm Canadian. I love how the rainbow flag keeps it. That's just the power of the gay! The power of gay completes you. Write that down. Oh my god, thank you. That's interesting. There's a transgender flags. There's multiple. That's interesting. I actually had no idea. I figured it was one design. Unless they mean like all like the oh no, they do just mean like under the banner of that. That's really interesting. I didn't know there was more than one. Oh, that's so interesting. I had no idea. I love finding out this sort of thing. I like how you made that sound like really sarcastic, Dunshaku. I like how sarcastic you made that sound. Oh, I know there is, but like when I mean like just specifically devoted to that, like I had no idea. Why did I copied this? I need it for the color scheme. Don't be a bint. There we go. That's really fascinating. I actually had no idea. I mean, the emphasis on the really. Again, I love it. It sounds super sarcastic. It's like, that's really interesting. But yeah, I love finding out that sort of thing. It's so fascinating to me. Here, I'm just gonna, hang on. I'm gonna draw the heart, and then I'm going to, kind of warble it around, and then I'm gonna clip the color to the other one. Okay, so I'm just real quickly gonna click on the thing. The one, they show three. The main one, designed by 1999 by American trans woman Monica Helms. They show the Israeli transgender and genderqueer flag, which uses the, like, you know, like the classic male-female symbol, while also having, like, them combined in the extra head, which I think is for non-binary. And they have another one, which uses the same colors as, like, the classic trans flag, but in a very different way. It has, like, very American-style lines, and it has, like, that gender kind of marker thing again in the corner, although it's missing the gender-fluid part of it. And it was designed by Jonathan Andrew, or Captain John, of the trans male website Adventures in Boyland from 1999 to 2004. That's really interesting. That's so cool. I find that sort of thing so fascinating. American style, like the flag, like the American flag. Like, you know how they have the, like, the stripes? Yeah, which, I think the stripes are meant to represent, like, territories or something. Okay, people who are American, what are the stripes meant to represent on the American flag? The stars represent the states. The blue represents unity. What do the stripes represent? So many stripes. Oh, amendment to your, 13 colonies. Thank you. That's what it was. An amendment to your transcript there, Dashanku. It does have a symbol, but it's lacking part of the one that was on the Israeli. Like, it's a different symbol, but it's very similar. Ah, crap. Okay. Let's get rid of the ruler. Let's make the heart a little smaller because it kind of looks like it's taken up. At the very least, I want the colors to be more visible. So something like that. I think that's good. It's still visible, it's still there, but you can still make out all the different colors on the pride flag versus the heart, you know? Does the Israeli one have a Star of David? Nope. It's actually very plain. It's just green with the symbol in the middle. That's not to downplay whatever it means or whatever, but like, you know, I just think that that's fascinating. I also just think it's fascinating that we're having this conversation because this isn't normally the thing we talk about on these streams. That's a little bland. I mean, I guess, but maybe that's the idea. Somehow I don't think the idea, let's do it the modern corporate way and make our design boring and say it's minimalist. I'm sure there's a reason for that. By the way, can I just say I hate that? I hate, like, oversimplified logos. Like, look, I understand the need for graphic simplicity, but, like, and hell, if you look at some of my designs, they're very simple. But, like, there's an upper limit, and especially if it's based on a design that already existed, and you're just like, that's just a lamer like the Pringles, man? Like, the weird, like, Mario Pringles, man? They really did, effed him up something fierce, man. Think of the Pringles, man! I'm very happy you phrased it like that. I mean, that is fair, I suppose, but, like, again, I do feel like there's, like, I think Doritos, I don't even know if this is actually real, but I saw this Doritos logo floating around, and it's literally just a triangle. I don't know if that's real, because I've heard mixed reports on it, but if that's real, but the fact that I can consider that that might be real, I think says a lot. Of course, the opposite can also be true. There's such a thing as an overly complicated logo. I mean, like, look at any metal, like look at almost any black metal band. Their logos tend to be very eccentric, but it's not real? Okay. I do remember that Doritos was doing a marketing campaign where they literally just showed a picture of the chip on the bag for a bit, but I don't know how far that went or how long they did it for. Because they're like, that's all you need. And I think that's kind of the idea with a lot of these simplistic kind of graphic design, is that it's meant to show, it's almost meant to exude confidence, I would say. I'd say it just looks really boring. It's not very eye-catching. Yeah, where's the... There. I typed that one in myself. Grindcore bands are where... Oh, jeez. Thank you very much for your help with the, transcripting, by the way, Denshaku. With a little smiley face. You did very good with the transcriptions. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. I would have, tried to see if maybe there's some auto ones I could have had on Twitch, but those are super unreliable, and that wouldn't have been fair. Yep, for real. Like, for real as in yep, or for real as in the things suck, or are you being sarcastic? I don't know what to take from that. I'm sorry. Oh, jeez. Algorithms suck. Yes, they do. Like, I can't stand people saying, oh, it will get better, lol, smiley face. And get better already? I'm assuming you mean in relation to, like how algorithm and translation and whatnot handles. I will say something for nothing. YouTubes aren't a disaster anymore. Thank you, Fanbot, for reminding people that we do in fact accept tips. We have freaking quantum computers to pull this crap off. So why aren't algorithms getting better? I don't know. Because it requires money and effort. I feel when I created a flag of a certain group, I feel it was overcomplicated. I didn't like how it turned out. I mean, fair enough. A video of a waffle falling over gets demonetized. But hey, remember the borderline pornographic ads on YouTube? They're fine. Because they're ads. Because YouTube specifically makes money off of them with little endangerment to themselves. Whenever I think of just the irresponsibility of algorithms and their treatment of people, I think of YouTube. I said recently, like, I was canceling my... Because I was originally planning on starting to do videos again. No, sorry. There isn't a better... Unfortunately, there isn't really a better platform. And YouTube can eat my bum. Because it is just so... It is the most It is the most user-hostile website I think I've ever seen. And I've been around for YouTube... Jeez, it's well over a decade now. It's got to be around, like, 13 years. And I've been around, like, YouTube and seen it change and grow and alter and get worse. Maybe once or twice things got better, but for the most part it was always terrible. It always would just get worse and worse, and it just kind of reaches a point where it's like, I'm surprised I didn't have this breakdown sooner. The problem with YouTube and its new ambition is trying to get display user-generated content platform as a marketable service. That was Google's idiotic mistake in buying it. Yeah, it was never going to be that kind of big business, but that's what Google does, and I'm surprised that they are as successful as they are, because they're constant. I'm sorry, I just got distracted by something. Anyway, is that they're constantly jumping into business ventures that they know nothing about. Need I remind you guys of Stadia? The strength of our user platforms is the very fact that they're unregulated free. Heck, that's the reason why the internet is so powerful, why things like NFTs and Article 17 are also so brainless. Yeah. It's actually one of the reasons why I like Tumblr so much. Because other than maybe some occasionally weird, like, AI-generated ads by companies that don't matter, it is almost otherwise completely unregulated outside of just basic decency. You can go there and just chill. It's become so much more tolerable now that everyone went to Twitter. It's such a fun place. Oof, Stadia. Yeah, Tumblr still exists, and it is easily my favorite social media website now. It didn't used to be because it was an absolute nightmare. But it's gotten so much better and so much more tolerable, ironically, just by being dumb. Twitter's a minefield. Twitter is the worst. Like, I mean, sure, YouTube is the most actively user hostile, but Twitter is the most, at least to me, as the kind of content I create, is the most damaging place. Don't get me wrong, I have admitted before, I have been and or probably still am addicted to Twitter because it's perfectly fit for someone like me who likes quick, bite-sized content. But it's a minefield. It's terrible. You can't say anything without some kind of scrutiny. And I know I'm gonna get flat. If by some goddamn miracle BADVIBE ever takes off, like, proper, I know I'm gonna get flack for it, especially on Twitter. Not because it's some anti-SJW thing. It's a, because it deals with sensitive subjects. And to be fair, you'd probably always get, like, called out for dealing with sensitive subjects, but, like, there's a very special way that that the Twitter user base tends to handle it, and it is not good. It's not conductive. Are there still weird? There's weirdos on every site, my dude. Hi, Malice. I'll get better, lol. I might just get my own website, but that means a lot less notoriety. Yeah, that's kind of the difficult part, isn't it? The thing is, I played around with the idea of making my videos Discord exclusive, but then I remember that Discord really doesn't like it when you upload videos, so it's like, well, crap. Oh, I can't wait to see the poop you get from To Dust. Yeah, it's gonna be special. Hey, congrats, Malice. You're up quite late. Twitter is nice, but only when you know how to avoid. Well, I mean, yeah, but, like, you could also argue that of the minefield. The minefield may have the nicest view ever, and it's very beautiful. Oh, also, happy birthday, Malice. It might be absolutely beautiful. You know, it might be great. But you still had to avoid the mines to get there. And I don't think that's worth it, even if you know where the mines are. I use Twitter because it has a very large reach. It's where the majority of people who like my work is, and because I have quick access to the work of other people. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna, like, ignore the issues. Not that I'm saying that you do, but it's addicting to argue, and it sucks. Yeah. My neck, my back. I'm not going to finish that sentence. Please excuse the mic blowing out there. Have we just been listening to, like, the same song for, like, the past, like... Because I swear this was different songs at first. Now it's just been one continuous loop. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's always been the one continuous loop this entire time, and I'm just an idiot who never noticed. That's just me, but after hours. Oh. Excuse me. Has that song been going through my head for 12 hours? Yes. The answer is yes. I can never be free. Alright, so we're almost done this drawing. If anyone had any last questions, I would absolutely adore the opportunity to answer them. But we are going to be wrapping up soon. So get them out while you can now, folks. Not that we won't do another stream like this in the future, but, like, you know. Now is just a good opportunity. Some of the worst harassment on Twitter for most benign stuff, people need to insert themselves in. Yeah, a lot of it is just, like, the case where it's, like, you could say something, like, really minor or something that just doesn't... Thank you very much for the follow, Snowmobile! One letter away from Snowmobile. Welcome to the Fox Den. Kick up your feet and relax. We're working on some art, answering some questions about my comic project, BADVIBE, a cyberpunk story that focuses on family in a cruel, harsh world. The meaning of family in a cruel, harsh world. There's this need to fight. I'm guilty of this. I have gotten into some online arguments largely just because I felt... Hey, thank you very much for the 10 bits, Snowmobile. Meow! Aw, all the emotes. Hi, Snowmobile. Are you a cat? I'm getting the impression you're a cat. Kitty. Hi, Falling Furs I found with emotes in the Ferality stream closing ceremonies. I'm a snap. Oh, you're a snake? Awesome. Ferality stream closing ceremonies. Oh, I guess someone was there that used my emotes. That's super cool. Guys, I'm famous. No, I'm joking. Well, if you want to hang around, no, oh, Snap, Snow Leopard. Aww. With their big foofy tails. We do have a Discord if you want to join. To give you a bit of an insight on who I am, I'm Dr. Josh Fox. I'm a gender fluid variety streamer. I do everything from like RPGs to shooters to platformers to sim games, or in this case, art. Right now, we're actually drawing a piece of one of my characters from a comic I'm working on. And people have been asking questions. Nice, thank you. And people have been asking questions about it. And I have been answering those questions to the best of my abilities. Not always amazing answers, but I've been trying. Both about the comic and about the character. So if you have any questions, feel free to lob them. We're probably going to be wrapping up soon, I should mention, but like, you know. I like interactive art streams. I'm glad you do. We also designed a character earlier, and I'm like super proud of him because he's super cool. His name is King Ratcord, or Ratcord. I always say Ratcord. Their name is King Ratcord. I always forget. We agreed gender neutral pronouns. Anyway, I miss them already. I also miss King Ratcord. Anyway, King Ratcord here is originally a helper bot, but came into kind of line with a rat-based gang, was physically modified, and then fell out with that gang, and now he fights them. What will you have after 500 years? What will you have after 500 years?
I would have had you.
How you doing, Steel Rain SD? Welcome to the stream. I love your username, by the way.
You dead. I still have you.
That's the quote. Thank you. I'm doing fine. Please no. I'm doing fine and dandy. I'm glad you're doing fine and dandy. I wasn't earlier. I am now. Largely because of our awesome little community. I believe you're new to the stream, so just to give you an idea, my name is Dr. Josh Fox. I'm a gender fluid variety streamer, and I do everything from gaming, like RPGs and platformers, shooters, sim games, etc., etc. But I also do art, and right now we're doing some art of one of my characters. His name is Max BADVIBE, his name is Max Smith, but you know. People have been asking questions about the comic, about the character, etc., etc. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. How tall is Max? Specifics not sure, but I believe I decided he was roughly around like 5'7", 5'8". One hat man to another. Cool hat. Is that Mortal Kombat? Like, I feel like that's... He's so much taller than me. Oh. Like, is that Mortal Kombat? I feel like that's something that gets said in Mortal Kombat. WYB? What does that mean? Oh, watch your back. Thank you. I am not hip with the kids. Yeah, it's MK. Ah, I knew it. I love Mortal Kombat. So anyway, who's the best character? And why is it Quan Chi? No, my favorite characters are Cyborg, Sub-Zero and Reptile. Aaron says it to Kung Lao. Ah, that's right. Yeah, I figured it involved Kung Lao because hats. And thank you for complimenting my character. He appreciates it, I think.
Gonna go catch you another time. Take care. See you later!
Get over here! Your favorite character, Scorpion? Scorpion's pretty cool. I like Scorpion. You know, this is gonna be weird, but when I think of Scorpion, one of the first things I think of is I think of Mortal Kombat Conquest. The part where he says, "You will have a chance to die," to one of his underlings for like failing or something. Because that was another thing that decided that Scorpion is just evil, and I hate that because that is super not accurate. Thanks, early 90s adaptations that make characters like that just boring. An accidental reply. Oh, also my Twitter. Thank you, Fembot, for letting people know that I do in fact have a Twitter where I post art. Twitter is evil, yes, but it is a good way for me to promote my art. Not for me, lol. Fair enough. I mean, it is for me. Because it's what most people, hear me out. But what do you think of Scorpion in Street Fighter? Thank you very much, Steel Rain SD. I mean, if I had it my way, we would have just had Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter by now. But, considering that both series are so different, if you had to compromise and get something close, I think having a Mortal Kombat character in Street Fighter as a guest fighter would probably be the best thing to do. Or possibly vice versa, maybe get like Akuma in Mortal Kombat. I think out of all the Street Fighter characters, that would probably be the one that would probably be the most okay with having, like, A, doing horrible, brutal things, and B, having horrible, brutal things happen to him. That aside, I think, yeah, having a Mortal Kombat character guest star in Street Fighter, I think that would be fine. I would be so down for that. If I had to pick, I would have picked Sub-Zero, but that's my preference. And Scorpion would probably be the one that they would pick. That would make more sense. It'd either be Scorpion or Raiden. It probably wouldn't be Sub-Zero. Maybe if they did it in another game, like a follow-up, but like probably not Sub-Zero in the first go-through. Though maybe that's just Injustice talking. But thank you very much for following, Steel Rain SDs. Very much appreciated. Hope you decide to stick around. You the best. Now, if Joker could be in Mortal Kombat, why can't Liu Kang be in Super Smash Bros.? I think because there's a bit of a different kind of allowance for that. In the comics and whatnot, Joker tends to be a very violent character. And a lot of what you see in the comics, you don't get in, like, the movies and, like, whatever. And a lot of the stuff in the comics, especially stuff like the Brian Azzarello Joker comic, is Mortal Kombat levels of brutal. So I think it would make more sense. Whereas Liu Kang is a character, or whoever... By the way, if they were to add in a Mortal Kombat character to Smash Brothers, it would also probably be Scorpion, not Liu Kang. Like, maybe you should try Tumblr. Maybe, but fair warning, its user base ain't what it used to be. It's definitely a much smaller website now. Anyway, I think Max here is done. Let's get rid of the refs. I can remember where I put the trans flag. Crap. Where did I put it? What have I done? There we go. A cute bat. Oh, thank you. Yes, I also think he's... I forgot his whiskers. I'm still deciding how exactly I want to go about coloring his whiskers. I know I want to do it, like, draw... I know I want to draw them. I want to draw them like this, where they kind of float off of his face. What about OnlyFans? Just kidding, that'd be very weird, wouldn't it? My body went into attack mode for a second. I have no mouse now. Dark gray? Maybe. Geez, that was a very loud laugh. And it's very late. I shouldn't be laughing that loud. Oh, I feel bad now. Yes, I use a computer mouse with a laptop. Well, I did. It's alright. I mean, I do when I play The Sims or whatever. Well, I did! Oh, did you actually break your mouse? When you think about it, OnlyFans and Patreon are that much different. Yeah, OnlyFans just has a little bit more. It just leans a little bit more towards the nip-nops. We're starting an OnlyFans. Only fuck. Oh, why would you say that? No one wants to think about that. What's the fate of King Ratcurd? Well, I don't know what King Ratcurd would be used in, but King Ratcurd, I personally like to imagine, eventually manages to bring his little gang together. He takes down the original gang that he realized was so evil, and his gang that he's with now reforms as a more of a group of sort of vigilantes, and they protect everyone. Eventually, as he gets older and his body starts to fall apart, he retires and hands down control to the next robot in line. He passes away peacefully as his final process is shut down. He lived a good life after dealing with all of the horse crap. That is my explanation for what happened to him. Maybe, but who knows? Maybe someone fixes him. Oh, that character as our creation? I don't know. I'll probably put him in the Discord and we can find out. Rain for Smash. Rain will also make a good Mortal Kombat character. Rain for Metal Gear. Yeah. Anarchist Collective. Apparently you have other things. Oh, yeah, no, they do. Rat Curd making me think of Putin. I'm just gonna sig this, and then we're gonna be done. I don't know if there's gonna be any minute to raid, but let's try anyway. I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me for an extra 3 hours. I didn't mean for this to go as long as it did, but it did. But I'm super glad that it did. I feel so much better now. You guys asking the questions, us making our character together. Thank you very much. You guys you mean the world to me. And you make this all, like, just so worth it. I love each and every single one of you so much. It was really fun. I'm glad you guys had a good time. Thank you for being so, like, receptive to my questions, and, rather, thank you for being so receptive to my requests for questions. The sequel is someone trying to bring him back online. Yeah, exactly. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, and I just want to thank all you guys for being so awesome and, like, putting up with me and my being silly and being here when we had a good time, being there when we had a bad time, just being here and being awesome. I wouldn't be where I am without you guys, and my life would be significantly less good. So I very much appreciate it, every single one of you. Now let's see if there's anyone we can raid. Hang on, maybe checking the mobile app isn't the best idea. Let me go back to my Twatch and find out. If you want, maybe a few people could do that and we could see what, there really isn't a lot of people on right now. Yeah, it's really just, yeah, so no one to raid. So we're not going to be raiding anyone tonight. Fall, it was a good stream. I'm glad you had a good time, Steering SD, for as little as it was. Anyway, we're not raiding again, but that's it. I want to thank each and every one of you for being awesome. I'm just gonna pop off the stream. Love you all. Bye!